We're halfway through the year and we saw prices go up in Reno-Sparks. How much did they go up? Let's dive in and take a look. As I hinted, I said prices went up, and they went up a pretty decent amount from $554,475 up to $575,000 median sales price for Reno-Sparks single family home. Wow. So highest it's been for a bit is 3.6% since last month, and just down 4.2% from our peak, which was last year. So we are below the peak now, but we are still going upward. Are we going to create a new peak for Reno-Sparks and set a new record? We'll have to see next month, but we are seeing prices, as you can see, continually grow. We saw days to contract just inch up, just 2 days, not too much, still just over 2 weeks for the median days to contract to get an accepted offer on your home. In all the different price ranges, most of them stayed relatively same, up or down maybe a day or two, or some of them a little bit more. The 300 to 400,000 actually jumped from 6 to 12, so took a little bit longer there, but I just think because there's not much inventory, we'll get to the inventory and that price point later on in this, but there's just not a lot available, so those numbers can fluctuate quite a bit more when there's not much to display. All right, taking a look at our closed sales, new listings, and inventory for the Reno-Sparks area, we saw actually all of them go upward. We saw our sold listings go up from 408 to 432, up a little over 4% since last month, but from last year down just almost 4.5%. Taking a look at new listings, we saw new listings jump from 532 to 557, up just a little bit from last month, up 2.4%. But compare it to last year's new listings, and it's down 34.7%. So we saw a lot less sellers coming on the market. A lot of, like I've talked about in previous videos, a lot of people putting pause on maybe listing their home, on giving up their lower interest rate, and just seeing what happens in the market first. I think that's still happening, and that's why we're seeing these numbers. But wow, down 34.7% less listings from last year. But looking at inventory, you've seen inventory start to climb upward, so that's good. We need homes over 700 now finally. But you compare that, look at the percentage from last year, down almost 41% in inventory. So we don't have very many homes right now. And even if you compare it to pre-COVID times, our inventory is still very low for our summertime. What's available in the price range you're looking for? Take a look at all the different price ranges. Like I told you at the beginning or earlier, only 21 homes for sale in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. Not a lot. So they kind of come on the market and go off relatively quickly, like you saw in 12 days median. But take a look at the rest, and you see there are, the most available is in the $600,000 to $750,000 price range. Now we always like to look at the month supply of inventory to kind of range the supply and demand, and we saw it inch up just 0.1 months, but you see we've relatively remained mostly flat the last 4 months. So 1.5 to 1.6 to 1.7 now. Looking at it by price ranges, you can see most of them, same as before, relatively stayed the same. Some of them swapped a little bit. I thought that it was interesting. The 750 to million price range dropped from 3.2 months supply of inventory down to 1.8 months. So anything under a million, pretty much everything is 2 months or less a supply of inventory. Once you go above that, you see 2.7 and 5.3 months. So not too much changed on the $1.5+ million sales. Our forecast of what we kind of see what's going to happen over the next month or two with pending sales, that's homes that accepted an offer in June. We saw inch up from 456 to 466. That is a bit higher than we saw last year. 421 we saw this time last year, so that's good. We're getting a bit more activity going on this year versus last year. I think a lot of people may have accepted the buyers have accepted the the higher interest rates at this point, so we're just seeing more activity. And if you go to look to see where all those pending properties price ranges are, you can see that a large chunk of them are going to be under the 750 and below, with a big chunk of them versus the other end of the spectrum. 23 homes that sold or went pending at 1.5 million or above. Like I said, we are halfway through the year, and with that, I wanted to take a look and see in the last 12 years, since 2012, what has happened the first 6 months of each year. And you can see, so how many homes sold in each of those 6-month period. Well, look at for 2023, we can see that we are significantly lower than the rest of the years, with the closest one being in 2020, which included March and April of 2020, which the market had really slowed down significantly during then. So, and the next closest would have been last year, but still quite the gap between it. So we are not seeing the sales, even though we're seeing prices and inventory the way they are. Yeah, we are seeing less homes sale. That also follows our new listings as well. We see new listings went from last year 3,878 down to 2,001. That's right, almost below there's not one of these numbers that are below 3,000, and this year was almost below 2,000. So quite a difference on new listings there, and that again is why we're seeing inventory so low. So even though we're not seeing as many homes sell, we're not seeing as many homes come on the market, and that's just supply and demand. When the supply is still low, and even though demand has dropped a bunch too, we're still seeing the growth that we are out there. Let's take a look at the Reno market, and starting with the price, $627,500. That's an over 10% increase month over month. Compared to last year, this time, down 1.2%, so not much change year over year. You can see everything else, inventory down 42% from last year. Same with new listings, down 40%. So when you compare a lot of this stuff over last year, that was right when the market was starting to really slow down because of the interest rates starting to go up. We saw prices start to drop at that time as well. Right afterwards, that's what we're seeing now, as we're kind of comparing that time frame. Taking a look at Sparks didn't see much of a price change month over month, surprisingly. So I thought that was interesting. So it's at 535, just in slightly upward. But again, look at inventory down 38% year over year. New listings down almost 20%. Fernley actually dropped price down 1.3% to almost 300, just under 375,000. We saw inventory drop 43% year over year. New listings, not much change, down only 4.7% year over year on that. Heading down to our capital of Carson City, slight increase there, 3% increase month over month. So just under that $500,000 again. We're getting close. We see inventory, 79 homes available in Carson City. That's down 41% year over year, with new listings down 43.3% year over year. Heading further south to Gardnerville and Minden, look at that median sales price. It jumped up a bunch, up 15.5%. That's quite the increase. And that's based off the 65 sales that happened last month. So it did jump up 3.2%. in terms of closed sales from the previous month. New listings down year over year, as well as the inventory year over year down 29%. Finishing us out in Reno-Sparks for condos and townhomes, we saw prices go up just a little bit, up to 345. Inventory, 174 properties available out there in the Reno-Sparks market. So if you are looking for something maybe a little bit more competitively priced to get started, could be an option as well. Definitely still not as much as inventory as we had a year ago, down 20%, and new listings down 12.5% year over year. So we aren't having that inventory that we still need out there, but because we have that supply and demand issue, that is keeping our prices going upward. So if you liked what you saw here, appreciate the information at least, be sure to give me a like. Let me know you liked the video. Feel free to comment below and give me your thoughts of what's happening in the market. I always like to hear what other people are thinking for the area. Be sure to watch my other videos right over here where I do mid-month mortgage updates with Jeremiah. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these upcoming market updates. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.